What a performance by Coco Gauff to win Roland Garros. Your initial thoughts on the match?
What a lesson from Coco Gauff on how to handle adversity. It was windy today. She thought originally it was going to be indoors, and so she actually warmed up indoors, played the last 2 matches indoors. But when she came out, she was so composed, never let it bother her, never let the power of Sabalenka bother her, whereas Sabalenka was bothered by everything. She looked anxious, she was looking at her team, and Coco just went back to the fundamentals. Brain was always working, just super proud with the way that she handled that entire match, and actually all 7 matches. A lot of adversity to win a major. So congratulations, Coco Gauff, on winning Roland Garros.
Yeah, it was the rock-solid mentality of Coco Gauff for me and her ability to problem solve. She was under all kinds of duress initially in that match. It maybe seemed like she didn't know how she'd come from under it, but she kept the positive thinking going. She put on the running shoes. She made some adjustments. She started making a lot of balls. She saw what was going on with conditions, and she didn't fight it. She leaned into it, and I was so impressed with how well she managed her emotions over the course of the match. She managed the moment, and her reward is this trophy, and she is the Roland Garros champion. It was phenomenal.
Incredible stuff. Being congratulated by folks all across the globe, including the legend herself, Billie Jean King. And how about this, Paul? Coco shared this on her social media, the power of manifestation. A piece of paper with the words, "I will win French Open 2025 over and over again."
Yeah, it's amazing. I think, you know, Tracy, you summed it up. It's just so hard to explain how important mental balance is and emotional control and the ability to let go of stuff you can't control and you just play. And to see a 21-year-old do that in that situation and to watch her not doubt herself, not have huge reactions, not panic, getting down 4-1, 40-love in the first set, comes all the way back, doesn't win the first set and still doesn't panic, still doesn't change the plan. She won this because of between her ears.
Yes.
I mean, she's an amazing competitor, a tremendous athlete, and she deserves this. You know, and we've talked about Sabalenka. She's an awesome, awesome, talented physical player, and she just struggles sometimes to manage the composure. And as soon as she started losing the composure, I worried for her, because you can't be that volatile emotionally and still have really high realistic expectations. And Coco Gauff did that to her.
We'll have all the highlights. We'll hear from both players, break it all down from every single angle. These two met a month ago in the final of Madrid. That time, it was Coco coming off a semifinal win against Iga Swiatek. But Sabalenka took it in straight sets for her 3rd title in the Spanish capital. It also leveled her rivalry with Gauff at 5 wins apiece and 1 each on clay. Chad, it's the first time in 12 years we had the world #1 and 2 playing in the final at Roland Garros.
Yeah, and we were expecting a lot from this matchup, and the early stages didn't disappoint, but it was Sabalenka who was aggressive. She had big margins. She had a lot of forays into the net, won 25 of 40 of those points. That was a successful area, but this is where it started to go sideways for Sabalenka. A couple double faults in that 4-1 game. She was up 40-love, and it was how negative she seemed to get talking to her team, and that carried over into her overall mindset. She didn't play that ball, maybe thinking it was going to go out, but you have to want the ball in those moments, and it was Gauff who had that mindset. Sabalenka still had opportunities on her serve, and to Sabalenka's credit, she kept trying to fight through it, but she was kind of her own worst enemy at times. That miss didn't give herself enough margin over the net. In windy conditions, you got to give yourself space. You keep hitting, you keep swinging, but you give yourself just a little more court to hit into. This was Sabalenka moving in again, but Gauff, that fantastic backhand to get into the tiebreak, and it was Coco Gauff who was pumped. And in the tiebreak, Gauff took that momentum. She got off to the quick start, the early lead, Again, Sabalenka showing what she did against Iga Swiatek in resetting, and she did that 5-3 down. She hit a couple of big returns, and this one on set point coming in, it was phenomenal stuff, and we figured we were in for a battle, Sabalenka taking that first set. But early in the second, this is where there was another huge shift. Sabalenka had a game point on her serve. She didn't get it. Gauff got the break early, and it allowed Gauff to alleviate some of that disappointment. And, you know, Tracy, we were talking about this as the match went on, but it was Gauff with that shift in the second set, able to get it, able to get on the front foot. She started slicing forehands, just finding ways to get balls in play, and it worked.
It certainly did. So, both the Australian and French Open women's singles final go to a third set for the 5th time in the Open era. Taking a look at the numbers, 51 unforced errors in 2 sets for Sabalenka, Paul.
Yeah, that's the thing that's got to get better, right? And you look at that and you combine it with 45% first serve percentage. That's not very good, but then you're winning less than half of those on your first serve anyway, and winning less than half on your second serve. So she, to me, really did shoot herself in the foot. I mean, she's a great player. I feel terrible for her because she's been the best player on tour this year. And today she wasn't. And I think most of it was her own undoing. And I think one of the things that we're so lucky as tennis players is we actually can learn. I mean, she should take this and learn, because she doesn't have to play as perfect as she tried to play. And no matter how you play, it's not what's done to you. It's how you react to whatever's done to you. Yeah. And the reaction really enabled Coco to continue to be calm, cool, and composed. And Coco was just a genius about it. I mean, she was really smart, and Sabalenka unraveled.
Yeah, I was absolutely shocked that the #1 player in the world didn't have the capability of hitting 10 balls in a row if she wanted to. It was the 3rd shot of a point on clay where your power is diffused. We know that Sabalenka is one of the most powerful players out there, and we know that Coco is probably the fastest player along with Iga. She's going to get a lot of balls back in play. She's going to go to that slice forehand. She's going to go to the loop forehand. She's going to go to the 3-quarter rally ball, and she's going to test and extract those mistakes from Sabalenka. And Sabalenka was unwilling to get the right balls back in play, not try to change from cross-court to down the line, which is a high risky shot so soon in the point, going a 10 out of my scale, 1 to 10. Yeah. She was so often at the 9 and the 10 scale. You know, when you're getting a ball, you're receiving a ball where you're not on balance, where your feet are not under you, you've got to go back to a 6 or a 7, build the point again, and then look for the opportunity. I was just so surprised also with how often Sabalenka was looking at her team so anxious because of the weather. I mean, the conditions, you've been playing in the conditions since you're 10 years old. You've been playing in wind. And you've got to realize it's on Coco's side, it's on my side. I've got to deal with it, move my feet a little bit better, not show any anxiety, and just pull my margins in because of the wind.
12 breaks of serve in the first 2 sets combined. So we head to a decider. 1 set to determine a first-time French Open champion, Tracy.
Yeah, this is 1-all in the 3rd set. And I will say Sabalenka started out playing with a lot more energy that opening game, but Coco just kept that same mentality. Now, that's a great shot for the crowd, but could Sabalenka have gotten that ball up, just a regular lob, maybe have won the point? Maybe not, but I don't think I'd ever hit a tweener, especially in a major final. Get back to 3-all, so Sabalenka claws her way back in, and the drop shots, those were way too deep. She was nervous. There was tension in her arm, and so those were not working. This is saving a match point. That's what I'm talking about. A 10 out of 10 power, and on the line, boy, that was high risk when you're down a match point. And at this point, Coco Gauff is feeling the tension. That ball is in. Sabalenka thinks it's going out, and then again pulls the trigger too fast in the point. Make Coco feel that moment, particularly on that forehand side. But this is when Coco is so much smarter than everybody else, plays within herself, constantly thinking about what do I need to do, what's happening on the other side of the court. This is happiness, relief. I've been there, and you're just so excited. You've won 7 matches. The 2 weeks are done. It's fantastic.
Her parents jumping in the stands. So much love for Coco Gauff. Let's hear from her.
Really came down to the last few points, but overall, I'm just really happy with the fight that I managed today. It wasn't pretty, but it got the job done, and that's all that matters.
I think I was over-emotional, and I think today I didn't really handle myself quite well. mentally. No, I already have a flight booked to Mykonos and alcohol, sugar, and I just need a couple of days to completely forget about this. But yeah, tequila, gummy bears, and I don't know, swimming, being like the tourist for a couple of days.
Tequila, gummy bears, and swimming.
I like it.
That's a trifecta right there. Coco Gauff, first American to win at Roland Garros since Serena a decade ago, the youngest since 2002. Check out the road too, Chanda.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch Coco Gauff work her way through this event. That third round, the second set, the tiebreak against Boskova, that was a challenge. She worked her way through it. The real tough test was the quarterfinal match against Madison Keys. She lost her first set of the tournament, the first set of that match, but she rebounded, she recovered, and that helped, I think, in the semis where she had all of the pressure. She was the player expected to win. The crowd was for her opponent, and Gauff handled it beautifully. And that's what we saw against Aryna Sabalenka as well in the final in tough conditions. And it was Gauff who was just mentally more sound.
Problem solving, fighting, digging in. Those are the characteristics we have grown to expect from Coco Gauff. She just never gives up, Paul.
No, and it's amazing. There's always a couple of key things that happen. And again, it's not necessarily what happens. It's about how you react to what happens. And this is a key moment right here in the first set. 4-1, 40-love, everything's going great. Double fault, things kind of go sideways for a little bit for Sabalenka. You can see she started to talk to herself, and now somehow Coco hangs in there, gets out of this game. And what happens was really interesting because you look at moments and then see what the players do, right? Coco, look at the composure, look at her face. She somehow gets in, loses that tiebreak and shouldn't, but her expression never changes. Her composure never changes. Her ability to stay in the moment never changes. And Sabalenka is the one that has been on this emotional roller coaster ride for the last 25 minutes. So Coco resets and then gets that big lead, and that turned everything because it just melted the will of Sabalenka to think through what was going on.
American women have now swept the first two majors of the year for the first time since Serena took care of it herself in 2015. And take a look at this, where Coco is now a part of the champions at Roland Garros. Capriati got it done, Serena got it done, and now Coco Gauff, Tracy.
Yeah, and I feel like Coco's best surface actually is clay. And I think a lot of us were thinking that for a while. You look at that group, so many with power to be able to hit through the defenses of their opponent, but all of them incredible movers, that ability to get that extra ball back in play. And that's exactly what Coco Gauff has. She's got the slice on this side, whatever it takes to run and get that extra ball with the loop if she needs it. It's just that mentality of point-by-point mentality, and she's been taught that since she was a little girl. She actually said today that she was down in that Madison match and came back, didn't win necessarily that set, but that really helped her. She knows that she trusts herself. There's that inner belief. She backs herself that no matter what the scoreline is, I can figure it out. That is an unbelievable quality to have.
Yeah, and it seems like things have come a little bit full circle. I mean, this was the first final that Gauff made at the major level at Roland Garros, and you remember how disappointed she was, lost a very one-sided final to Iga Swiatek, and, maybe the doubts start to creep in there. I mean, she talked about it, how she maybe didn't believe in herself, give herself enough of a chance going into that match. Well, fast forward a few years, and she has learned from it. And that, I think, is what is so impressive about Coco Gauff. We see her growing. We see her getting better year after year in front of our eyes. She's so young when she started, but she still has so much in front of her. And I just love her mindset. I love the attitude that she brings. And I think that is going to hold her in good stead, regardless of the ups and downs. She's a two-time major champion. I mean, what more do you want than that? Except more majors. Except more majors.
That's for sure.
More majors, number one. Listen, she won the junior title here 7 years ago, carried the flag for Team USA at the Olympics. This city has provided Coco Gauff with some of her most meaningful moments in life.